day.
Yeah, special day.
Here we are. Hi. We're here on a very special day for a very special reason. I'm Brian O'Flynn, my mother's Kitty Millane, and this man here comes from much further away from Australia.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Adrian Millane, or Millane we say in Australia, and my ancestor Fairchance was also Brian's ancestor on the Flynn side. I have an ancestor, Bridget Flynn, who left a cottage very similar to this one, very nearby in Millane's town. And left with a James Millane, who was also linked to the O'Flynn side of things.
I'm standing in a place called Cloontra in County Clare, in East Clare, and this is the 7th of the 7th of the 7th year. So this is a very special day because we're going to a gathering of the clan, of the Millane clan, in the church at Oatfield today, which is a church that our ancestors would have gone to, and we're looking forward to meeting the extended family.
This is the former home of the family which were nicknamed Sean-Og Millane, or the young Sean or young John Millanes. Obviously they needed to differentiate the families. There were that many John Millanes and that many Michaels and Peters. This is the original cottage, which is still in the family, owned by Thomas G. Millane.
Sing songs, come to the feast of the God of all gods. Let us give praise, let us delight. Come to the feast of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Through direct connection or through marriage. So, and I'm a wannabe member of the Millane family, I suppose I would call myself at this stage. It's such a, and we're in this building. This building, I would say, dates from probably the 1720s. This building was a place of worship for the people of this area just shortly after the siege of Limerick. So in a sense we're in a very historic place, a place that is full of memory, a place that has a strong connection with all your descendants, or your antecedents. So on this today, I'm very conscious of history, very conscious of your family, very conscious of our own families, because today, in our Mass today, we want to remember parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, people you've known, the Millane connection. And I think of my own parents too are part of that whole story. So as we come today, this lovely afternoon, surprisingly good after the week we've had, as we come as the family of God to celebrate the mystery of Christ, to remember, lovely word in our vocabulary, to remember, remembering, words as it extols the virtues, the qualities of previous generations, biblical times, and especially in our times.
Their name lives on for all generations. Let us praise illustrious men, our ancestors in their successive generations. The Lord has created an abundance of glory and displayed his greatness from earliest times.
To recall all those who've gone before us, whose history we share. There's a time to be grateful for the lives that they led.
a bunch of cheats your Irish poets are, because the poetry's just written right across your land. You don't need to be a poet. I met a man the other day who's, I had the fun of saying, "G'day, is that Mr. Millane?" And he said, "Oh, sure it is." I said, "Me too." He said, "Oh, is it now?" He said, "You're a fine fellow." That was a lot of fun. He said something to me that rang a bell with me, and I've taken the liberty of writing a poem which I hope will not, I hope it will be enjoyable, but not, what's the word I'm looking for, not presumptuous of me. Because this man said to me that he had seen a look in his father's eye at the memory of a brother who had gone away due to hard times. And I couldn't help reflecting that as a lad I saw many a look in my father's eye. As a little boy you wonder what that all means, but you never ask. Just a look in my father's eye. And it was just interesting to hear a complete stranger, and yet really, I guess if you look at it, a brother, a cousin, talking about a look in his father's eye. And it really rang a chord with me, and I sort of interviewed him a little without wanting to pry. And I drove away. He had busy time, I had busy time. My busy time was bludgeoning and his busy time was working, but hey, I had a lot to get on with. So this is a poem I've written with respect, and I suppose in a way it's loosely based on the story that I was told, but not meant to be a statement of fact about anything that ever occurred in history. So just to get, that's my waiver. A look in my father's eye. A look seen in his father's eye betrayed a hidden pain. The quiet heaving of a sigh for one never seen again. The years became forever, and families must go on. But like death, he lost a brother, and his parents lost their son. To never hear his voice again, or shake his brother's hand. He's far off in Australia, a very foreign land, with letters few and far between. Each word becomes so dear, and our Owens in Australia forevermore, I fear. No work at all in Ireland. He tramped the country wide. Work ended on the Shannon scheme, so a future to decide. To go out to Australia in search of better times. No more to see his family or hear the troop bell chimes. He came home from the Shannon scheme. Not a word did he let on. Went with his brother to the White Field, but tomorrow he'd be gone. Did you ever feel to travel or to see a foreign land? Not a word of his sad secret as he shook his brother's hand. He kissed and hugged his mother as she went to cot that night. It never crossed her mind to note he held her hand more tight. When they rose up in the morning, all the fires were burning low, and a note beside the kettle, "God bless you all, I have to go." A mother's pain pushed down inside. There's young ones yet in need. The old man straight into the fields. There's pigs and cows to feed. No one could know or reckon what went on inside their mind. The rent is due on Thursday and there's 10 bob yet to find. Not often spoken of direct or brought into the light. Such treasured and painful memories of such final fateful nights. Such stories now trickle down the years of such people torn apart by hard times or injustice, like to freeze the hardest heart. The years become forever, and still much pain lies unrevealed, and in so many families, let's pray with love, may scars be healed, and with your look or quiet sigh, has a thought to your mind come of some white field, some Irish cot, of some long departed one? Thank you.
In God's holy space, here is our source, here is our base, from which we follow the footsteps we trace. Let us give thanks, let us sing songs, come to the feast of the God of all gods. Let us give praise, let us delight,
That's enough.
You bring the cattle and I'll bring the pigs. And I'll meet you down by the river O'Garney. That's right. You know.
Bree, look over here.
That's a love.
Hello.
We turned our back.
Mom, look over. Mom, you're supposed to look over. Gillian, over here.
16.
G'day, mate. How you going? Fair dinkum. Do you want a cup of tea or what? Sure.
I tell you, one time my sister.
Thank you. Just to see who's...
My name is Marie O'Flaherty. My mother was Nellie Nichol.
Eimer!
Where am I now? Still in Dublin.
Over here. Thank you.
Yes, now.
Seamus O'Flynn, I'm Adrian's cousin from Ireland. We're outside Oatfield Church, just after having a very nice mass with Father. Can't think of his name.
We'll just call him Millane.
Millane, yes. So we've met all our cousins, and
John Ryan was hoping to have met your mother today.
Oh, he was trying to meet her. He said to me the last time they'd meet.
That's a pity now.
Peggy Hogan. My mother was Minnie Millane
Yeah.
from Kilmore,
Yeah.
born in Limerick. There was 4 in her family. And originated from Cloontra.
From where?
Kilmore.
Kilmore?
Yeah.
Who was your sister? May, was it?
Yeah.
And Michael Joe? And John?
Yeah.
All right. Did you meet them all today?
Well, now and again I meet him.
Did you meet Vincent Ryan?
I did.
Good. Mike Tobin gave over your reels and your
What's
jigs.
the matter with the big fair of the bridge?
You bring the cattle and I'll bring the pigs. And I'll meet you down by the...
The river O'Garney.
Fair play to you. You have it all off. Did you meet Peggy Hogan?
No.
Oh, she was there today, yeah. You met them all, yeah.
Who's out there? That's my
That's Breda. That's your
yeah.
daughter, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Breda Condon, Breda O'Flynn, daughter of Kitty Millane from Kilmore, County Clare.
Okay.
Oatfield Church for the celebration of Adrian Millane, which has instigated this repartee with all the other Millanes from across the globe.
I'm not a great speech maker, although I never shut up. But speech making is another art entirely that my father had. And I can write poems, but I need a few minutes' notice. But I thought it would be literally churlish were I to come to this country and not actually make use of a gathering like this to stand up and speak on behalf of, well, I think on behalf of all of us, but especially on behalf of my little chapter of the family down in Australia, because really to say just how remarkable it is to have so many representatives of so many branches of an interesting and fascinating old family, all under one roof. And there's a lot who aren't under the roof here today, not just from my clan, but from the Irish clans. And there's probably relatives that we don't even know are relatives who spell their name slightly differently or come from Aran Islands or somewhere and are not recognised in this. But then you go back 300 or 400, 500 years, you might find they're very closely related. So who knows what a DNA analysis would do? Mind you, that could be embarrassing. Just kidding. But I'd like to make use of this time really to express, well, thanks are not big enough words, but John doesn't like big words. But for John from Ballinasloe, I've been calling him Cloontra John for that long because that's how his email comes out. Wonderful job you've done. So we now have an extended family in Ireland, God help you. We now know who you are. And even worse, we know where you live. And the only good news I have to give you is that there are very few, in fact I can't think of anyone of my 9 siblings and countless cousins in Australia who would have the absolute gumption to come and jack up their car and strip their brakes in your driveway or or sleep in their car all over your bogs, or generally take the mickey out of your Gardaí, or sweet talk your military police. So I've done all those things and had a terrific time. They failed to shoot me, so I could well be back. And on that note, I'd like to make a little gift, which is from me, but it's really from my sister Gabby, who took the trouble to package it, because I wouldn't have it. It'll be in a brown paper bag with a quick note scribbled on one of my spare pages that hasn't got a poem on the back. But this is with much love and appreciation for you, John. It's a little token, just call it from the Antipodean Millanes.
You know what it is?
Listen, if it's ticking, don't open it. I suggest like a boomerang. Show that and it will return.
2, 3.
Hi, who's the jolly jumper? You've got it. Come along, sing Matilda with me. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. You come along, sing Matilda with me. Find who's the jolly jumper? You've got it. Come along, sing Matilda with me. And an old rocking chair. That's what I expect. You got the video on it? You saw
Yes.
them, they had the training. You ready? Here we go. You ready? We'll do the chorus first, so you've got rehearsal time. Everybody can help. Give me a home among the gum trees, with lots of plum trees. A sheep, a two, a kangaroo, a clown right up the back, veranda out the front, and an old, now that's it, sheep, kangaroo, clown right out the back, veranda out the front, and an old rocking chair. I've been around the world a couple of times and maybe more. I've seen the sights and had to like the foreign show. You can make up your own ones if you like. When my friends all ask me the place that I adore, I tell them right away. Get ready for it. Down the rocky road, down the west, down the way the lonely road. And I do next to right before. It's such a pity to be so soon deprived of view of that place of tea. And I took a stroll down among the quality bundle. It was stolen on the deep locality. Something crossed my mind when I looked. So much good I find upon this day. No of an inquiring for the road. They said, make your love. Train backs down into a road. Are you right there, Mike? Are you right? Parcel there.
Have you got the parcel there for Mrs. White? You have Joe Garra said he's coming down tomorrow, and it might, now might.
So it might.